Guys, in this video, I'm going to share with you what being a bouncer actually taught me about single mothers. And guys, I'm not going to hold back. Not only am I going to share with you guys what I learned as a bouncer, but also in my own personal life so that you don't make the same mistakes that I did and waste years of your life. And yeah, this video might offend some people. You know what I'm saying? People might not like this video. But everything that I'm going to talk about in this video are facts, they're truth, and they're experience that I not only saw, but lived myself. Okay, things that I've never shared before. So point number one that I'm going to make in this video is single mothers are single for a reason. Okay, now I've heard people say this before and I never really understood what that meant, right? Because maybe they just got cheated on, right? I never really understood what single mothers are single for a reason meant until I started to actually get involved with one. But one thing that I would notice, guys, in the clubs was that a lot of the regulars, they actually had kids. So what I mean was, like, a lot of the women that I would see on a regular basis, like, they actually had kids. And in my head, I would always wonder, like, why does this chick who has a kid, why is she always in the club? Like, shouldn't she be home with her kids? Like, what is she doing here? Like, what the fuck? But it was never, like, a big question for me because I never had any sort of relationship or involvement with a single mom, right? So it was just a question that never made sense to me. And I always kind of looked at them a little weird, right? But it wasn't until I got involved in a relationship with a single mom that I actually gained a whole different perspective of the situation, right? So
that was the first mistake you made, my brother. That you got involved in a relationship with a single mom. I mean, I'm not saying that you can't date them, like, just to access, and then when you're done, okay, move on to the next one, but ain't no way you gonna involve as, like, a man who don't have his own kids, I'm assuming, with a single mother.
I was bouncing, and this was when I moved down to South Carolina. I was bouncing and I met this chick, right? This chick had great energy, or so I thought, right? She was very happy, outgoing. She had a good, fun vibe. So we ended up exchanging numbers, right? I met her when I was bouncing. And the important thing is that I quickly found out that she actually had a daughter. You know what I'm saying? Now, the thing about it was I was highly attracted to this chick. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, you know what? She has a kid. I've never been in this position before. And I don't even want kids, right? Because I've never really had that interest of having kids. So in my head, I was like, all right, look, I'm not interested in having kids. You know what I'm saying? The risk is too fucking high. So if I have to, you know what I'm saying, help her with her kid, I don't see that as a problem because I don't really want kids of my own, right? So I almost saw it as like a win-win, as stupid as that sounds, right? Because I didn't understand a lot of things, right? I almost saw it as a win-win. So I was like, all right, whatever. If I have to help raise her kid, that's fine because I don't want a kid of my own. So at least I'm doing something for society and I'm helping raise a kid with a father masculine figure, or so I thought. Okay, so
bro, see, this is what I'm talking about, man. When a single mom is very attractive looking, men who never even thought about having a family or like kids would start thinking like this guy. Oh, even though I don't have my kids, I don't have my own kids and I never wanted kids, but bro, she is such a good looking woman and everything else probably lining up too with that. But first things are attraction, right? Maybe I can be a stepfather. Maybe I'm gonna take care of a next man's child. I can do that. So I can be with this woman.
I ended up going out with this chick and I quickly realized that this was one of those chicks that would be out in the club every week. Okay. And it was like the second time I hung out with her. And I asked her, hey, like, where's your kid at? You know, like, where's your kid at? And she told me, oh, no, she's with my mom. And as soon as she told me that, I already started to think, I don't want a kid with this chick. Mind you, I never wanted a kid in the first place, right? But I already knew in my head, like, this chick is recreational use only, okay? She's leaving her kid at the house while she's going to shake ass, drink, and club. Not only once every so now and then, but every fucking week.
Not just shake ass and have a good time. She's also looking for a stepfather. And she almost got you.
Okay, so I already knew, like, all right, let me proceed with caution, right? The more I got to know this chick, the more red flags that I began to see, okay? But since I was so pussy whipped, essentially, by the fact that this chick looked pretty good and has such a good energy and vibe, I kept going deeper and deeper.
Did you guys see that how he's always say how attractive he was? He's not saying anything else about her personality. He's not saying Oh, she was an amazing, cook in the kitchen. She was a great mom. She was treating me like a king. This man, every time he talks about her, he keeps going towards the looks. This is how much looks matters to men. If you look bad, man, some of these men out here would take care of your child. That's not even his.
Into the situation. One thing that caught my attention, guys, was that this chick would be buying bottles, right? Maybe every other week she'd buy a bottle, right? Like a Don Julio's or like it was Don Julio's, right? And also, she would actually buy me drinks every so now and then. Now, at the time, guys, I was working as a barber and I was just starting my barbering career. So, like, I remember having to check my bank account every time that I would go out because I didn't even have that much money to buy drinks. And there were a couple of occasions where she would buy me drinks, right? So, in my head, I was like, damn, like, I guess this chick got some money, right? I guess this chick got some money. And I'm not going to say her occupation here because I don't want people to know who I'm talking about, right? So, what I ended up realizing, guys, was that this chick was essentially broke. Like, this chick was essentially living some sort of paycheck to paycheck life. And the reason I found out about this was because she would always complain about the fact that her baby father is very stingy. He doesn't send me enough money. He doesn't help me out with the kid. He doesn't want to.
She wants her father of the child to support popping bottles at the club, go shopping before every time she go out on a Friday, Saturday night. She wants him to support that lifestyle too. Nothing to do with the kid. Who cares if the child have enough, clothes? Who cares if child have enough shoes? Who cares if the child have a new backpack to go back to school? Nah, he ain't paying me enough money because I really wanna pop Don Julio bottles at the club every weekend. Don Julio at the club ain't cheap. Yeah, I mean, even at the liquor store, it ain't the cheapest stuff. You know what I'm saying? You paying, that's like premium liquor. So she wanna live that lifestyle, delusional. But she complaining because she can't afford to do this. So she wanna blame the baby father for that too. He ain't paying me enough. Be careful, man, who you have a kid with these days, bro. Trust me, they'll blame everything on you. And they don't want you to only pay only for the kid. They want you to pay for their lifestyle too. Like you, their child. Go ask your daddy for some money, man.
Contribute enough money. But meanwhile, this chick was out here literally buying drinks for me, okay? Buying bottles and going to the club every week, okay? And that already made me realize, like, yo, thank God her baby daddy doesn't send her a lot of money because look what she's fucking doing with it. And guys, I literally realized that the drinks she would buy me was literally with the money of her fucking baby father. Guys, picture this. Child support money that a lot of these dads pay these single moms. This fucking single mom was out here in the clubs buying liquor, buying me drinks, buying bottles to then complain to her baby father and tell him, yo, you're not sending me enough money. I need more help with the kid. You know what I'm saying? So this is what made me realize, yo, single mothers are single for a fucking reason, okay? That's the first point that I realized. And seeing this from the inside perspective made me realize, like, yo, I'm going to just treat her as recreational use only. But what happened was, guys, I ended up getting involved in a situation, actually developing a relationship with a child. And I'm going to get into that later, okay? But bottom line.
Bro, don't blame the kid, bro, okay? You were just so hypnotized by the way she looked. You giving excuses about, oh, I built a relationship with a kid, bro. Come on, man. You ain't in it to build a relationship with a kid, bro. Who you fooling? As a man, I know why you were in it, bro. When the box is so good, her body looking tight. Bro, it makes you wanna fucking, it starting probably changing you as a man. Yeah. When you a man who haven't been around a lot of bad women, this type of shit you would experience. Because the box was amazing, probably. She was a, single moms usually be, they super freak in the bedroom. Yeah. If they look bad, if they look sexy, man, they can get business from me. But listen, That's it, baby girl. You ain't gonna have me come and take you guys out for like dinner and shit and go to the park with your kids. I'm not doing that. No, that ain't my job. I'm not trying to be around your kid. Yeah. Have a babysitter or something, you know what I mean? When me and you hang out. Yeah.
And she was essentially buying me drinks, spending the money that her baby father would send her in the clubs and to buy me drinks and to buy bottles. Okay. And one time she actually didn't have enough money to pay rent to the point where her electricity got shut off. Right. And at this point, this was when I realized like, yo, something's really fucking off. Something's really off. You know what I'm saying? But at that point, I was so involved in the relationship with her and her kid that I wanted to be a savior to her kid. Yeah, I saw her struggling because of her own decisions, and I wanted to be there for the kid, which I'm going to go into later. But bottom line, guys, a lot of these single moms, they live in this real reality where they prioritize themselves over their kid. Guys, if their kid was a priority, they never would have left their baby daddy. They would have sucked their own pride. They would have worked things out with the father just because their kid is their priority. And they would have wanted their kid to have a strong father figure or have a father figure. But since they're their own priority, whether that's because they're out clubbing or their ego is their own priority, that they can't just swallow their pride and just work things out with the baby father, they're single mothers. And I really legitimately realized how deep this shit goes once I got into the relationship, as I'm going to go further in later. So,
Bro, listen, the kid isn't a priority for her because she also at the clubs every weekend. Yo, spend time with the fucking kid, bro. You know what I'm saying? Why you out I get it if it's your birthday or something. I understand. Yo, go out, enjoy, have a good time. You know what I'm saying? Like 3-4 times in a year on a special occasion. Ain't nobody stopping you. You, man, go out and have a blast. But you, like this man saying that she was out every weekend. Don Julio. Rent ain't paid. Struggling. But at the club, at least, she want to make sure that she don't look like she's struggling at the club for that moment. What, like 3 hours max, 2.5 hours? Like you in the club for even 8 hours. You know what I'm saying? Like a shift at your work. 2.5 max. For that moment, she wanted to look that she living that lifestyle.
point number one, a lot of these chicks in the clubs that were regulars, they were single mothers, and they're single because they prioritized themselves over their fucking kid, okay? Point number two, okay, is that single mothers, they use their kids as a guilt and shame tool. I don't know if any of you guys have played chess before, right? But you know the pawn, the piece that you just throw in the board and just give it up because it's not worth shit and you just want to kind of strategize your way into position? Yeah. A lot of these single moms use their kids as a pawn. And if you guys are baby daddies, you guys know exactly what I'm talking about. So guys, once I got into a relationship, into a deeper sense with this situation that was going on, I ended up developing a connection with this kid. Kid was great. She was amazing. To be honest, zero complaints. Kid was amazing, right? And I ended up actually caring for this kid. And when things would happen in the relationship where I would like just disconnect and just cut off, the kid would suddenly start to call my phone. Out of nowhere. This kid all of a sudden was actually calling my phone, which, guys, in the past, that wouldn't happen, right? So every time when we would break up, this kid would actually call my phone and ask me like, hey, what are you doing? Or like, where are you going, right?
I bet it's the mother telling the kid, hey, call him. Make him feel like you miss him. Make him feel bad so he can come back in my life and start supporting and providing. Like the man said earlier, right? He felt bad, so he tried to help her out with rent or whatever. I'm pretty sure he wasn't only paying for the rent. When they went out, he was buying food for the kid and the mom and whatever else. He might not be telling everything that he supported because, you know, I don't know. But if he wasn't doing that, it would lead to that eventually. That's what I'm saying. So she needs that so she can continue with the lifestyle that she's doing every weekend for 2.5 hours. That Julio on repeat. Looking like she made it at the club. But throughout the whole week, I bet she's miserable.
And this is when I realized how dirty the manipulation tricks are. Because if she's using her kid to fucking call me and to manipulate me into feeling bad, imagine how that baby mother or how single mothers use their kids against their baby fathers, which I saw in real time, which I'm not even going to get into, okay? But bottom line is a lot of single mothers, they use their kids as fucking pawns on a chessboard. They'll use them to fucking manipulate you, and that's exactly what I experienced. Like, this chick would literally have her kid text me like, hey, where are you doing? Or I miss you, even though the kid would never do that previously. And that's when I realized, like, damn, over time, I realized like she was using her kid, which was like 9 or 10 at the time, to actually like guilt me into going back with her. You know what I'm saying? And since I was so invested in that kid's life, like I actually wanted to help that kid out. I want to see that kid have a masculine figure and all this type of shit that I don't even believe in anymore, because I'll get into it later. But yeah, single mothers, they use their kids as pawns. You know, if there's somebody watching this video and they're like, "Oh, that's not all single mothers. That is 95% of single mothers." I'll let the baby daddies in the comment section comment. You know what I'm saying? But bottom line, a lot of these single mothers use their kids as pawn and as leverage tools. You know what I'm saying? Think about how twisted that is, right? So point number 3 that I want to go into, which is actually very important for you guys to understand, is that single mothers don't care how much you do for their kids. Single mothers do not care how much money you spend on their kids, how much time you invest in their kids. They will literally cut you off and never say thank you, not give a fuck, and not recognize your effort and not honor it whatsoever. And
Man, they're gonna be like this, yo. Yeah, he's doing all that because he gets to enjoy my body. That's how they're looking at you. They don't respect you. No, bro. They look at you as a simp. They look at you as like you paying for pussy. Yeah.
the moment I realized this, guys, this was a distinct moment that I realized this. We were in Target one time, okay? And she had just gotten out of work. So she was with her daughter. We met up at Target. She was doing some grocery shopping. I came along. And I remember distinctly how she was ringing her items. I think the total was about $95, okay? And I remember at this time I was struggling with money, right? But since I wanted to be, you know what I'm saying, Captain Save a Single Mother, I decided.
Bro, you wanted to show off, bro. All right? Stop the cap. You weren't trying to be Captain Save a Hoe or whatever, save a baby mama. You wanted to show off and tell her, like, yo, if you keep letting me hit, I can really take care of you guys. Yeah. And what did I say earlier? The rent isn't the only thing he was helping out with. Bro, I didn't watch this video. No. But as a man, 35 years old, I have a lot of experience. So I know. I've seen this type of man before, you know, as friends and shit. So I know exactly what's going on. The rent isn't the only thing he's paying for, bro. He is going to the grocery store. He is going to the clothing store. He paying for the child stuff like, you know, shoes and just to impress the mother so she can allow him to hit whichever way, however many times he wants. He wants to access everything when he come in the bedroom. And a lot of people be like, oh, you know, but he's already getting it. But yo, this man want to take it to the next level. There's certain things she might not be doing with him right now that he be like, yo, you know, see how I'm doing this, or if you just let me do this real quick, yeah, I can provide.
To pay for her groceries, right? And guys, my bank account, I remember, literally went negative to pay this fucking grocery bill. I literally was giving this woman all that I had, like all that I had, giving it, right? And 2 days later, I remember we had a disagreement where we literally like broke off. And I remember telling her like, yo, like you literally don't value anything I do for you or your daughter. And I remember her telling me this distinctly, guys. She said, I never asked you to do that anyways. I never asked you to do that anyways. And that moment was the moment that I realized, bro, you can be with the best of intentions with single mothers. You can be trying to like help them and help their kids. But at the end of the day, they don't give a fuck. They don't give a fuck. And they're going to tell you, I never asked for you to do any of that anyways. Because at the end of the day, guys, the reason that they're single mothers is because they didn't give a fuck being single mothers. They chose to be single mothers, right? So if you think that they need you or that you're adding some help to their life, they're not going to value that shit, because the fact that they're single mothers is a choice because they chose to not work things out with their baby father, okay? I feel like the only situation that it makes sense would be if the baby father's a complete deadbeat and he disappeared and she's never heard from him, right? But in these situations where the baby daddy's either involved or things were just broken off because of a situation, guys, she chose to be a single fucking mother. She chose to raise that kid by herself. So you coming into her life and trying to add value and pay for her bills and help her, she's not going to value that shit. She's not going to value, she didn't even value being with the father of her child. You think she's going to value being with fucking you and investing so much time and energy into this relationship?
That was facts right there. If she didn't value being with the father of her child, do you think she gonna value you? She don't give a fuck.
Into this kid made me realize, like, bro, this woman does not value anything. She literally told me, I never asked for you to do any of this anyways, right? And guys, the reason I'm telling you guys these stories is so you guys can realize the mindset of a lot of these single moms. You know what I'm saying? This was the reality that I experienced.
All right, I'm gonna stop the video right here, okay? But I'm gonna leave the link in my description so you can go watch his whole video, subscribe to his channel, whatever you guys want to do. All right. But let me say this. All right, I've cracked a lot, not a lot, but like, you know, a decent amount of single mother who look bad. You know what I'm saying? So I had to, but yo, I ain't never been out to the grocery store with them. I ain't never been out to the mall with them. I ain't never been out nowhere with them. No, I'm not picking you and your kid and dropping them off to school or some type of appointment. No, I come out after dark like Batman. When your kid is in bed, don't know I'm over. We watching Netflix, me and the mother, okay? And I get what I want, and then I'm out. Okay, and she keep hoping and praying one day she's gonna, like, turn me into a man like this guy right here. But that would never happen because I already know the game. You know what I'm saying? So, and I feel like, yo, bro, listen, the men who be with single moms, right? I look at them as like, if she wasn't a single mom, that girl, she wouldn't entertain this man. You know what I'm saying? So now, you know how you go to Walmart and you see the rollback prices on some items? She's on a rollback shelf. So if she is entertaining you as a single mom, she looking at you like, yo, I wouldn't fucking even look at this man if I was single, not struggling. You know what I'm saying? I have a totally different type. Because I'm speaking from experience. I have seen the men, some of these women they dated, the way they look, the way everything, right, about them. And then once they become a single mother, they go for a totally different looking and different type of man. I'm sure you've seen it too. So I don't know, fellas. I wouldn't entertain or, trying to be a fucking stepdad, Captain Save a Kid. Nah. I mean, no, I'm not talking shit about the kid or nothing, man. You know what I'm saying? The kid didn't ask to be here, all right? But I'm talking about the single mom. I'm not trying to entertain none of that shit, all right? So, if you, I don't know, some men probably out there, they look at you like, bro, all right, so you got with this woman who have kids with other men because you can't really find a woman and have your own kids with. Your confidence is not all the way there, or you ain't shit. You don't get play with women. So you're gonna, pretend like I'm gonna save you and your kids. Let me be the man. I don't respect that shit, man. I can't be friends with you if you were my boy with doing that shit. I ain't saying not to crack these girls, bro. Single moms. If they look good and they're your type, absolutely. I do that too. I'm not stopping doing that, no. But in a relationship, how your family gonna respect you, bro? You raising a next, if you have a father, right? How is he gonna look at you like, yo, bro, I raised you, I did all this shit, and he ain't doing that, like your father ain't doing that? And you go out there and you raising a next man kid, bro? If my sons did that, I'd be disappointed. But my sons ain't gonna do that because they gonna get the game from the father. Hey, that's my take on this video, man. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you guys liked the video, man, comment, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. And I'll see you guys in the next video. All right, peace and love.